Have you ever stood in the toothpaste aisle just staring? You're not alone. Whitening, sensitivity, gum health, tartar control. The claims are absolutely endless. Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that marketing noise. We're going to decode the science that's actually packed inside that tube so you can finally find the perfect match for your teeth.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the core stuff you'll find in pretty much any toothpaste. Then we'll dive into the great fluoride showdown. Yep, there's more than one kind. After that, we'll see how special ingredients solve problems like sensitivity. We'll uncover the real science behind a brighter smile, and we'll wrap it all up with a super simple cheat sheet to make your next trip to the store an absolute breeze.
Okay, first things first. Let's completely ignore the flashy boxes for a minute and get right down to the fundamentals. What are the basic building blocks you'll find in pretty much every single tube of toothpaste?
Yeah, that feeling. We have all been there. You're just staring at this massive wall of boxes, and every single one is promising you a perfect smile. But here's the secret to navigating this whole thing. You have to realize that underneath all that marketing, most toothpastes are actually built from the exact same core ingredients. So what's really in the tube? Well, think of every toothpaste as a team of ingredients all working together. You've got your gentle abrasives, and their job is to physically polish away plaque. Then you have surfactants to create that satisfying foam we all know. You've got humectants to keep the paste from drying out, and binders to give it that perfect consistency. And of course, you've got flavors to make it pleasant. But the real star of the show, the one that does the heavy lifting, is the active ingredient. And that's where the science gets really interesting.
Let's zoom in on what is, without a doubt, the single most important ingredient for fighting cavities: fluoride. But here's the twist you might not know. Not all fluoride is created equal.
Okay, this table lays it all out beautifully. On one side, you've got sodium fluoride, or NaF. This is the gold standard, the classic, purely for preventing cavities. Simple and super effective. Then there's MFP, which you might see in some older formulas, but it's a bit slower to get to work. And then you have the overachiever of the group, stannous fluoride.
So what makes stannous fluoride such a powerhouse? It's the stannous part, which is just a fancy word for tin. That tin gives it a really powerful antimicrobial effect, which is amazing for your gums. And on top of that, it physically blocks the tiny tubes in your teeth that cause sensitivity. This is why you see it everywhere now. It's a much more holistic approach, right? It's tackling gums, sensitivity, and cavities all at the same time. It's a true all-in-one, even if the trade-off is sometimes a slight metallic taste.
All right, so beyond just fighting cavities, toothpaste are packed with special ingredients to target very specific issues. Let's break down the most common ones you're going to see. If you've ever had a cold drink and just winced in pain, you need to know about potassium nitrate. Think of it like a nerve calming agent. It doesn't build a wall to block the cold. Instead, it works directly on the nerve inside your tooth to stop that ouch signal from ever even firing.
And this diagram shows exactly how it does its job. Those little potassium ions, they travel down these microscopic channels in your tooth, and they start to build up around the nerve, basically telling it to just calm down. It's a gradual thing. It takes about 2 to 4 weeks to really feel the difference, but it's a super effective and gentle solution.
But what if, instead of just calming the nerve, you could actually rebuild the tooth's defenses? Well, that's the whole idea behind ingredients like Novamin. It's this cool thing called a bioactive glass, and when it mixes with your saliva, it releases calcium and phosphate, the literal building blocks of your teeth, to form a brand new protective layer over those sensitive spots.
Now for gum health, there are basically two main schools of thought. Think of chlorhexidine as the heavy hitter. It's a really powerful antiseptic that a dentist might recommend for short-term intensive treatment. On the other side, you've got CPC, which is like your daily defender. It's a much milder antimicrobial agent designed for long-term, everyday use to keep your gums healthy without the risk of staining.
We see tartar control on so many boxes, but what does that actually mean? The science is pretty clever, and it all comes down to a special class of ingredients called pyrophosphates.
Okay, here is the absolute key thing to understand. Pyrophosphates work like a shield. They prevent new tartar from forming by basically stopping the liquid plaque on your teeth from hardening into that tough mineralized gunk called calculus. So they're fantastic at prevention, but, and this is really important, they cannot remove tartar that's already hardened onto your teeth. For that, you still need to see a dental professional.
All right, let's talk about the big one, whitening. How do these toothpastes actually deliver on that promise of a brighter smile? Well, it turns out there isn't just one method. There are a few different scientific approaches to get the job done.
So you've got two main strategies here. The first is mechanical. This is where you use slightly more abrasive particles, like hydrated silica, to physically scrub away the surface stains from things like coffee and tea. This just restores your tooth's natural color. The second strategy is chemical. This uses low concentrations of peroxides to actually penetrate the enamel and break down deeper stains, which can lighten the natural shade of your teeth.
But what if you have sensitive teeth and harsh abrasives or chemicals just aren't for you? Well, there's a third, gentler option: enzymes. Ingredients like papain, which, fun fact, comes from papaya, work by dissolving the protein film on your teeth that stains love to cling to. It's a much less aggressive way to lift away that discoloration. And this is just fascinating. Some whitening toothpastes use an ingredient called blue coverine. Now, this isn't really whitening at all. It's a color science trick. It deposits a super thin blue film on your teeth, and on the color wheel, blue is opposite to yellow, so it instantly cancels out those yellow tones and makes your teeth appear whiter. The effect is immediate, but it is temporary.
Okay, we have covered a ton of science. So how in the world do you use all this knowledge when you're actually standing there in that toothpaste aisle? Let's make it super simple.
This right here is your ultimate cheat sheet. It's that simple. Just find your main concern on the left. Are you dealing with sensitivity? Okay, look for potassium nitrate or stannous fluoride on the box. Worried about your gums? Stannous fluoride or CPC are what you need. Battling coffee stains? Flip the box over and check for stronger abrasives or peroxides. And if you just want that all-in-one protector, stannous fluoride is almost always going to be your best bet.
So there you have it. You now have the tools to read a toothpaste box like a scientist. You can look right past all the shiny marketing claims and find the ingredients that are truly right for you. You know, it really makes you wonder, with all the advancements in material science and our understanding of the mouth's microbiome, what problems will the toothpaste of the future solve? Thanks for tuning in.